When you buy a used vehicle, especially a 15-year-old Jeep, there's going to be some trials that you're going to have to face. There's going to be some ingenuity that you're going to have to find. And of course, being the old technology, there's going to be some upgrades that you're going to want to do. And you're going to be met with some challenges. I'm Joe from Scale Freak. Let's talk about some of the fun stuff with my 2004 LJ. First things first, let's talk about this pile of parts. When you buy a vehicle, a used vehicle, I'm the fourth owner of this vehicle, so therefore some people have done some things to this Jeep that maybe were not my taste or Tosh's taste, so we're stripping some parts off. If you watch the original video of how this thing came, you'd notice that there used to be side rails, there used to be giant fender flares, there used to be a back bumper, there used to be headlights, but that's a work in progress. So we went through, and with the help of Bear, of course, stripped all this stuff off the Jeep. You can see the fenders are gone to be replaced. Thank you, Ketty, for the replacements. Headlights are gone for an upgrade. The doors, the step sides are gone, just to be gone. And at this point, the rear spare tire carrier, rear bumper, all removed to be addressed at a later date. Now today, or last night specifically, it was the install of these new LED headlights for the Jeep. If anybody who's owned an older Jeep knows that the headlights were probably one of the biggest areas of improvement for a vehicle like this, and they're not that great, so we needed to get them done. But of course, when you start opening things up, you find things. Before I get too far into what we found on the Jeep itself, let's talk about the headlights. So the original headlights that were on these things, these big bulb guys, I don't think these were the original headlights, but they're the upgrades from what was originally there. Still not very good. When I removed the driver's side light, I found that the hardware or the connector that was on the back of this, somebody had spliced in, I would say at the best, a hobby grade electronic adapter, and it's a butcher job. Not very good. Like they were ready to fall off. They weren't the right sizes, so I can't use that going forward. Now this light here had the proper connector on it, but this thing is so seized on. Original owners have broken this thing trying to get it off. I, as a challenge, was trying to get this thing out of there last night, and it was a no-go. This thing, of course, was also spliced on. Not good. I mean, the adapters, they're not that great. They are what they are, but this thing wasn't coming off, so I had to cut this headlight out. Now, the upgrade for these bad boys here is this LED light. All internal, actually quite heavy unit. But Ketty has a set of these on his Jeep, and they are epic. And the Jeep headlights are really, really easy. They're held in to the Jeep itself with these rings. Then you got kind of a beauty ring to go on it. And then there's just a couple of settings and stuff like that to adjust. Really, really easy. Now, what am I going to do, though, because this wiring is such a mess? Well, this headlight came with an adapter because it's a kind of a multi-use. So it did come with an adapter that I'm going to just chop this end off that I'm not going to be using. And I'm going to correctly get this wired into the Jeep. So at least I've got a bit of a pigtail with a protective loom and the correct connector to connect to these new lights. So I'm going to be very confident that we're not going to lose a headlight while we're out somewhere. One of the main reasons we need to upgrade these headlights is because a couple years ago, poor headlighting on my Civic, didn't see a deer and tagged it. And, I'm not going to get into how bad the situation could have been, but we all walked away, including the deer. Here are the driver's side headlights. These are not big enough to fit onto the new ones, and they were pretty much falling off of the old light. And they're all just crimped on. It's not a very clean job, especially for something that's going to be exposed to the element. And if you look in here, this is what we're looking at. It ain't pretty, and I'm not confident about it. As you can see in the garage, as soon as I find an electrical gremlin, I tear things apart. Electrical stuff scares the snot out of me, and when it comes to the safety of my wife and my kid, I don't mess around. Now, on the passenger side, it wasn't much better. But as you can see, the wiring is a little bit different, so I've got to do a little bit of work over here to kind of get it done again. High beam, low beam, ground, and I'm going to get it all wired into this bad boy right here so that it is a correct connector. So I'm not going to say I've hacked it back to the loom. It was already hacked back that far. I just removed the mess that was the old, and I've got to get it so that when it comes to the headlight, it'll be like that. Super, super easy. There's those adjustments I was telling you about. And I'm going to take some time out in the garage today to get this thing all done correctly. Using the super ancient filming technique of waiting around all day, waiting for it to get dark, and then finding a place with low light and as little noise as possible, I want to show you the difference we have between the headlights. So I've swapped them back out to the original headlights that were in here, and I'll turn them on. Boom. That's what I get. So that is, it's not that far away. I mean, it's hard to see, but there is actually a row of trees over there. Let me see, I'll put the high beams on. So you can see that there's cement blocks down there, and maybe you can see some trees, a little, not much to the left or to the right. And I do have these headlights aligned as best as I could. But that's what you get from the original ones. So back down to low beam, back to high beam. Now, let me go back and switch them into the new LEDs. Back to the same spot. I tried to park in the exact same spot that I was the last time. Let's see what it's like with the LEDs. This is not on high beam. Like that, now you can see the same stuff in the distance that you only saw on the high beam of the regular headlights, and there is much more broadcast from side to side. Now, I have tried to align these the best that I could without having to break out the measuring tapes. I will do that before I start traveling on the roads. But here's the high beam. So now even more. This was a really inexpensive upgrade for this thing. I got these on Amazon. I think they were $100, I think. $100 Canadian. And, well, they can make the front look pretty nice as well. Great upgrade for your TJ or your LJ. Pretty much any Jeep. It's going to make a big difference for you and for everybody else on the road because, I mean, this is a little bit more directional and you're going to see more stuff, which is definitely going to make you safer. But yeah, guys, that's a wicked upgrade that you can pick up for not a lot of money. I highly suggest it. And that is that. If you don't have to wrestle with the wiring, it's a 20-minute upgrade. If you do have to play with the wiring, well, set some time aside. You need a torque 15 to get it done. The longer the driver, the better. Of course, it helps with the adjustments if it's not just a bit in the end of a universal screwdriver. So that looks great. I like that. And now I'm going to go for a drive. I've realigned the headlights, got the marks on the walls. I've realigned the centers of the headlights. Now I'm going to take it for a boot and see if anybody flashed their highs at me. That will tell me that they're not quite ready yet. But guys, check it out. Again, I just hit this up on Amazon. There's a whole pile of different ones. So read through the reviews and see which ones that you like. I don't even know the brand name of these ones. You know what? I don't know because they're pretty much all the same. Just a bunch of different names. Roughly shipped to my house here in Canada. It was $110, including all the taxes and stuff like that. And it came in about a week and a half because it got caught at customs. But that's it, guys. Like, subscribe, share with your community, and of course, comment below. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.